Hello, Aries, and welcome to the channel. How have you been feeling as we are leaving the month of August? So, we will be heading into the Aries September horoscope for all Aries, Sun, Moon, and rising signs. So, Aries, have you been feeling moody this past month? It's that dang Mars traveling through the sign of Cancer in your fourth house, and you will be getting some reprieve there at the end of the month. I am your astrology coach, helping you navigate through life situations. So, I always say when we know better, we do better. So, as your astrology coach, I'm going to tell you what transits will be coming up in the month of September, how you might prepare for them, and how you can work with that energy. So, I always say, be prepared, grab your natal chart. If you don't have your natal chart yet, I will link a video in the notes, and it takes you through how to print your own natal chart using free software, AstroSeek. Because as I'm talking about these transits with you today, you really want to check your natal chart to see what is there. If you have any natal planets that are touching any of these transits, this certainly could be more powerful for you. It could cause more friction, or it could make it a little more softer. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any natal planets. Always have your natal chart printed and ready for our sessions. You don't have to, but basically what I'm going to go through is the collective bell curve astrology, right? So we know that every Aries out there is not exactly the same. Hence, that's our natal planet, our karmic blueprint, so to speak. So I'm going to give you the general astrology. Some things may apply to you, some things may not apply to you. But when I talk about some third house themes, the third house could be your siblings, it could be your neighborhoods, it could be social media and communication. So if you are an Aries, it might have to do with your siblings. Maybe they're going through something. But your neighbor that's an Aries, maybe they are having neighborhood problems. All right. So I always say, take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to give you all of the options and you will see how they play out for you. So for the month of September, we have some big things. So we have some planets moving into new signs. We have Chiron, the wounded healer, that will be leaving Taurus, dipping into your first sign of Aries. So that's pretty powerful for you. Be sure to check out my little short video on Chiron, the wounded healer. And that's all about where Chiron falls within your natal chart, what house, and where you might be looking for some additional healing or where you might be wounded. We also have near the end of the month, full moon in Aries. Again, that is your sign. So September is looking to be quite powerful for you. I forgot, coming up on the 10th, we have a new moon in Virgo. So good time to manifest some things for you. All right, let's get down to it and grab those charts. All right, Aries, here is your chart. Now, to just get started, I want to let you know I do use whole sign houses, tropical zodiac. Whole sign houses really is the way to go. It just keeps everything clean and neat. So we start September 1st with a couple things happening. We have Mercury in your sixth house of Virgo, sextiling Mars in the fourth house of Cancer. So this is going to create a strong supportive alignment between your daily work and your home life. So Mercury is in your home base, helping you to solve problems, work routines, health, or daily tasks, whereas Mars is going to motivate action around the home, and energy may feel emotionally driven. So on that day, we also have another transit happening. So we've talked about Mars in your fourth house of Cancer, kind of causing some friction. Now, Mars is squaring Saturn, which is in your first house. So for this transit, you may feel caught between your private domestic responsibilities or family needs and your own personal desire to move forward independently with your own goals. So has family kind of been steering you or giving you pressure to do certain things where in your gut you might feel like it's not really for you? So family matters here can feel like a direct drag on your momentum. So Mars, quick energy, right? Mars brings motivation and energy to the houses it's in, and Mars wants to act quickly on emotional instincts, while Saturn in your sign is going to demand slow, disciplined, measured movement. So Mars and Saturn, they are kind of malefic planets, and they are very opposite, right? Mars is quick energy and Saturn is more slow and methodical. So this is going to attempt to force outcomes at home that can possibly meet a wall of self-doubt, exhaustion, or even external resistance. So the constructive outlet for this energy is turning emotional reactivity into some practical boundaries for you. So you can use Saturn's discipline here to build stable systems at home rather than letting Mars trigger these unnecessary domestic power struggles or burnout. Okay, so we have that coming in the 1st of September, those two transits. And then we have, it's kind of a quiet week that first week of September. So we don't have anything again until September 10th, but we do have 4 events happening on that day. So let me move my wheel here to September 10th. And first thing I see happening on the 10th is Venus is entering a new house of Scorpio. This is your 8th house. Venus is in its detriment here, not too happy. So she takes on a different role, more of a mysterious role. So this is going to shift your focus toward your shared resources, emotional intimacy, financial obligations, and deep psychological transformations. Those are all 8th house themes. So as I said, Venus being in her detriment in Scorpio, which is traditionally ruled by Mars, your sign. So instead of harmony and lighthearted connection, Venus here is going to demand more emotional depth, control, and absolute trust. When I think of Venus in Scorpio, I think of, you know, like that dark, sexy, sultry Jessica Rabbit type figure. If you've ever seen, what is it? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Oh my gosh, I'm aging myself. If you don't know it, check it out. It was one of my favorite movies growing up, and Jessica Rabbit is Venus in Scorpio. So check it out if you haven't seen it. So this can manifest in your own life. Here are some typical outcomes that you may see. So you may gain access to some external resources or even receive a payout or support from an outside source. Some of your casual social interactions can take a back seat to deep transformative connections. And you will really be craving loyalty and truth in relationships. Though watch out for jealousy, secrecy, or possessiveness, right? Some of those Jessica Rabbit qualities. Venus brings a restorative, soothing quality to the heavy themes of the 8th house. So Venus being here can help you find peace around past emotional hurts or some uncomfortable financial realities. All right. Also happening on the 10th, Mercury enters a new sign, and Mercury is also entering Libra in your 7th house. So Mercury is in a harmonious element. Libra is an air sign, making this an excellent transit for balance or constructive dialogue. How this might manifest for you in September: conversations with a spouse, long-term partner, or business associate may take center stage. This is a great window for clearing the air, for making compromises, or aligning on future plans that have to do with clarity and fairness, Libra, right? So if you are signing contracts on or around September 10th, onboarding clients or working through legal matters, Mercury in the 7th will help you to weigh all of the perspectives and really keep things balanced. So you may find yourself even acting as a mediator for others or seeking out an expert coach or a consultant to help you talk through a decision. Hey, I would love to help you through a decision. Let me know what you've got going on. If you have any of those eighth house themes going on, but this is a positive transit for you. Also happening on the 10th, it is a doozy. We have Uranus going retrograde. So Uranus has to do with chaos, sudden shifts, and it's going retrograde. Retrograde often makes people reflect and look more within. So Uranus is in your third house here. So that's your third house of siblings, neighbors, and communication. So if you write, teach, you have a podcast, YouTube channel, create content, this retrograde is going to ask you to slow down. And really look at some previous forms of inspiration you may have had. So instead of rushing out to the next idea, you're going to really be reviewing how you deliver your message to ensure it reflects your authentic self. You also could see shifts involving siblings, relatives, neighbors, your immediate community, hit a period of review. So rather than sudden external developments, the focus is turning on how you are able to mentally navigate and react to these relationships. All right, so that is Uranus retrograde. We also have a new moon in Virgo, which is happening in your sixth house. Sixth house is your daily work habits, your health, your diet. It also has to do with small pets. New moons are a good time for manifesting things, planting a seed. So think of all of those sixth house themes that I just told you about. This is a good time to vision board around any of those topics and see that come to fruition at the final closure of the full moon in Virgo. So this is the perfect timing for you to launch a new system, to really master your schedule or workflow for any projects you have. This is the time for setting intentions around how you spend your day-to-day energy. Look at eliminating clutter or any wasted time in your day. This is also an ideal window for beginning a new nutrition plan, a fitness routine, or a preventative health habit. If you want to quit smoking, quit vaping, or quit drinking, this is a great window for that, Aries. And Virgo is going to kind of give you the strength to do that. So Aries risings, which is you, often push hard because you have that Mars energy, right? It's like go big or go home. So this lunation is teaching you how to maintain your machine, your body, so that you don't burn out. You may take on a client or kick off a detailed work assignment or adjust how you manage the help that you get. So that is what's happening on the 10th. I told you it starts out slow and then we've got all of these events on the 10th. Let me spin my wheel because our next event is happening on the 12th. All right, can you see what just happened there? So on the 12th, Mercury in your seventh house of relationships is trining Pluto in your 11th house of Aquarius. So this is going to create a powerful, harmonious flow between your one-on-one relationships and your broader network, your audience, your long-term goals. Those are all your 11th house themes. Now, because this is a trine is a supportive aspect between the same element of air, meaning communication is going to flow easily here. Carrying deep psychological weight, influence, even giving you a persuasive impact. So if you need to negotiate agreements or recenter any power dynamics in a relationship, this aspect is going to give you the psychological insight and diplomatic leverage to get straight to the truth without causing conflict. So a conversation or agreement made with a single person can unlock major opportunities across your larger social circle, online community platform, or even your professional goals. All right, our next transit is happening on the 15th. So on the 15th, You know what? Let me grab my pencil just so I can show you. Just takes up time. But on the 15th, we have Venus in your eighth house, and it is squaring Pluto in your 11th house of Aquarius. All right. Now, a square causes a little more friction, and it also forces resolution. So Venus is all about desire, money, relationships. However, she has this dark quality in the eighth house, and she is squaring Pluto in your 11th house, which is power, control, deep transformation. So we could see some hidden truths exposed so that they can be dealt with directly. That's what Pluto wants, to bring things to light so that they can be fixed. So if you have any money that's tied to groups, collaborations, platforms, or investors, this could involve some complex power dynamics or feelings of leverage. So it's very crucial that you are reviewing contracts or joint financial dealings with absolute transparency during this time. All right, don't be trying to hide things. Fixed squares can force out also what is no longer working for you. So use this energy to clear out any unhealthy financial obligations or toxic social dynamics. Replacing obsession or fear with clean boundaries and authentic empowerment. So this is really telling me, look at the groups and the people that you are hanging out with, and are they being beneficial? Are they helping you? And if they are not, then this might be a good time to let things go. All right, on the 17th, we are talking about Chiron, the wounded healer. So I have a little short video that I put out. It is an animation. It's pretty cute, and it has you take a look at where Chiron is in your natal chart and karmically what your wound may be. And through this lifetime, we are looking to heal. Now, Chiron is always constantly moving. So right now, for the whole collective, Chiron is leaving Taurus, going retrograde back into Aries. Aries, which is your first sign. So Chiron spent years in Aries from 2018 to 2026, really probing wounds around self-worth, courage, taking up space in those areas. So after a brief preview of Taurus energy, Chiron's retreat back into your first house is like a final integration phase for your identity before it leaves Aries for good. So while Chiron was in Taurus, that's your second house. The focus was on how you price your services, your material worth. So with it moving back into Aries, it's going to shift the focus back to who you are as an individual, completely independent of any external wealth or approval. So the first house governs your physical body, your personal vitality. You may feel prompted to address burnout and bodily limits or physical habits that stem from pushing too hard. This is your classic Aries energy. Aries are known for pushing too hard, right? I said it before. Play hard or go home, go strong or go home. Now I don't even remember what I said. But when I think Aries, I think play hard. So your body may be giving you signals to say, slow it down. All right. Listen to your body during this time so that your body can heal. All right. On the 21st is our next transit. So we have Mercury in the 7th house, Libra, sextiling Jupiter in the 5th house of Leo. So this is going to bring a wave of optimism, creative flow, and fruitful communication to your relationships, partnerships, and expressive projects. So both Libra, which is an air sign, and Leo, which is a fire sign, are expressive, outward focused signs. And the sextile here aspects It creates an easy bridge where dialogue directly stimulates joy, growth, and collaboration. So those are fifth house themes: creativity, romance. It can also be children. So if you produce content, you teach, or you put yourself out there publicly, this aspect is going to help your message land with charisma and magnetic appeal. So your audience, your clients, they're going to be particularly in tune to any ideas or things that you communicate right now. So negotiations are going to flow easily without sharp friction. Offers, contracts, or agreements made around this time will also tend to be fair, mutually beneficial, and just growth oriented. So on the 22nd is the next transit. So here we have Sun entering Libra, your seventh house. Your seventh house has to do with relationships, marriage. So the Sun here represents the ego, and it's going to act as a spotlight on all of your seventh house affairs. So, like I said, this is your personal relationships. Can be marriages, can also be business partnerships. So it's going to express warmth and enthusiasm during this transit. And then on the 26th, we have a full moon. All right, this full moon is happening in your sign of Aries in your first house. So what that means for you, how it might manifest. So the moon here lights up your sign while the sun is right opposite in that seventh house. This is going to balance your personal identity and your desires versus your own commitment that you have with others. So this is going to force you to prioritize your needs and really declare, know, understand who you are. So Aries, have you been hiding who you are for that relationship that you're in? So because the first house governs your physical vessel, right? I talked about this before. Emotions are going to hit high visibly. You might feel a surge of raw physical energy, impatience, and the urgent need to purge old habits or self-perceptions that no longer fit who you are becoming. Okay, so this is a closure, right? A full moon brings a culmination. So I'm looking at this connection between who you are and your relationships. So are you going to continue with that relationship? Is it healthy for you, or is it time to move on? All right. You might just, even if you're someone that's been married and with someone for a while, you might be considering this. And I'm not saying go out, get divorced or anything like that, because we work through things, right? We are humans and we should work through things and we should learn from them. And every time we have an experience, it helps us transform and become a better human. All right. On the 27th, whoops, went too far there. So on the 27th, we have Mars entering Leo in the fifth house. So Mars is your chart ruler, and it's entering a fixed fire sign. All right, dogs. Dogs are driving me crazy today. So, as I said, Mars is entering Leo in your fifth house. This is like you can finally breathe a sigh of relief, because Mars was not too happy in Cancer, and Mars is your chart ruler, and Mars is entering a fixed sign. So this is going to lift the moodiness, the emotional weight that Cancer had been giving you. This will charge up your confidence, your creativity, and your charisma. So you will want to be seen. You'll be more visible. You will be acknowledged for what you're doing. Your romantic life and your urge to play is going to receive some bold energy. So you're being motivated to do things that bring you pleasure. Doesn't that feel great after just coming out of this heavy Cancer in the fourth house? So the downside here, be aware, is that sometimes with Mars being in Leo can bring a little too much pride, a little too much ego, and can sometimes create drama in relationships. So just be aware. I always say when we know better, we do better. So if we know that's coming, we know how to work with that energy there. And then the last transit for the month happens on the 30th. Oh, I've got this on hours. Let me bring it back to the days. All right, so on September 30th, we have Mercury entering Scorpio, which is your eighth house. You've got a lot of eighth house action for the month of September. That is your shared finances. So your mind is sharp during this transit. You can spot financial inefficiencies. You can organize complex accounts. Mercury is all about communication, analytical thinking. So anything having to do with those shared resources, Mercury is going to help with that. So another part of eighth house can sometimes be dark subjects. So you may want to research dark subjects or be into some of those dark, mysterious movies, solving crimes. Mercury and Scorpio can also overanalyze, and sometimes people can become fixated. So be sure to channel this energy into productive research or deep clearing rather than getting into those suspicious rabbit holes. Although I love a good rabbit hole, don't you? So, have you seen that show Search Party on Netflix? This is the vibe I'm getting with Mercury entering Scorpio in the eighth house. So, Search Party, they're searching for their long lost friend, and they get into this rabbit hole, and it just snowballs into deeper, darker things. And now I get so much anxiety when I watch this show. I'm not even sure I can finish, but there are about 5 seasons. That is Search Party. It is on Netflix. So I'm getting a lot of those themes for you this for the month of September, Aries. You will be good. You've got energy. We've got some good things coming at the end of the month, new moon. So I hope some of this resonated with you. Let me know in the comments. I hope you come back next week to see. I will give you a rundown each week. And of course, every month I give you what's to come for your monthly horoscope. So again, thank you so much for being here with me and tuning in. I do appreciate you. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know when I put out a new video. Again, I appreciate you and have a blessed month.